This is the iPhone 12 mini and this is the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Both of these phones released, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, and I'm ready to give you guys my review. But first things first, let's focus on the iPhone 12 mini. Now I look at this particular model as a throwback to the iPhone 4. If you guys been around in 2010, you guys know this was ahead of its time. It's retina display, it's slab of glass on the front and the back, and you have that stainless steel on the side. And even with the iPhone 5, this is Apple's best designed iPhone in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And yeah, it's just good to see this design back again on a smaller form factor. And quickly, very quickly doing a side-by-side comparison between the two iPhones, you guys can see the iPhone 12 mini is a little bit taller, but very similar. Very similar. So if you're coming from an iPhone SE 2016 or an iPhone 5S, you're going to feel right at home with the 12 mini. And I'm so happy that Apple is going back to its smaller form factor. And the fact how we can get this much technology in a small package is just flat out amazing. You still have the same ceramic shield protection, which I highly encourage you guys to drop a case on this phone because glass is glass and glass breaks. Shout out to Jerry Rig Everything. And also, you have 5G connectivity. You have that beautiful, gorgeous OLED display, which is going to give you vibrant colors and rich blacks, or deep blacks, I should say. And also, you have those amazing DSLR quality cameras on the back. Although it is missing the telephoto lens and the LiDAR scanner for accuracy for the portraits. All right, as you guys can see, looking at my home screen, I had a lot of fun with this one. It was just a blast from the past. As you guys know, my first iPhone activated was the iPhone 4S, but I did have the iPhone 4, but it wasn't activated. My brother just gave it to me just to use as an iPod Touch, and this was the operating system I was using, iOS 6. So I took the iOS 6 wallpaper and I downloaded the iOS 6 icon pack, and I also hide the notch too, just for more throwback. So I had a lot of fun with this iPhone so much. If you've been rocking out with iPhones for years, since day one, since the 5S and the 4 days, you're gonna love this one. Even reaching up to the top corners is no slouch. I could very easily tap on the apps with no problems. I don't have no problem tapping on the photos, the camera. There's just the top portions. And typing on this keyboard is also the most comfortable ever. So you have that swipe gesture, so I can say subscribe. Oops, I said subscriber. And you can launch up Instagram, and the pictures doesn't look too small or too tinny. You still have an all-screen design here. So the iPhone 12 mini, you would think it's the base and you don't want no part of it, and you know, it's not as shiny looking as the 12 Pro, but this is still the iPhone 12 that you know and love. The same A14 chip. Although the RAM is a little lower compared to the 12 Pro, I haven't had any problems with RAM issues. It could be able to recognize the apps or memorize the apps in the background. It feels like I'm back in 2010 again, but more modernized. As you guys know, I absolutely love the boxy feel. If Apple were to make a curvy iPhone 12 mini, it wouldn't have the same effect as it is now. Another reason why I picked this up in black was because my first iPhone that I ever had was in black, but this is not a true black. It's more of a hint of purple a little bit. I'm not sure if the camera's going to do any justice, but if you look at the iPhone 4, that is just black. And like I mentioned before, the cameras are just fantastic, phenomenal cameras. I did a camera comparison compared to the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro, and those pictures look identical to one another. It's amazing on how far mobile photography has came, in my opinion. Fun little fact, I used to make videos on my iPhone 4, and that was only 1080p at 30 frames per second. That was for the 4S, but the 4 was only 720p, and that's why I used to make my high school vlogs and stuff like that. Now, one of the main concerns about the Mini has to be about the battery life. Since this is a smaller phone, this is a smaller milliamp battery, and I'm happy to say that the battery life It is the worst out of all the iPhone 12s, but it's still not too bad. It's not as bad as the iPhone SE 2020, but you still got to be concerned about the battery life. Nonetheless, you may have to plug it in, especially if you're going to use 5G. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wouldn't mind if Apple put 4G on both the iPhone 12 mini and the 12 just to bring down the cost, because the iPhone 12 mini cost at $730, but if you activate it through a carrier, it's $700. I think that's a little too pricey for something like this, but you're getting all the bells and whistles of the full size iPhone. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if this would have cost like $500 or even $600. It would have been a little bit more better, but $700 is a little bit of a stretch, especially if you're gonna buy it on lock. It's just a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. Some of the compromises, I would love to see 4G LTE and just reserve the 5G connectivity to the Pro models. That would have been nice. Maybe 9 times out of 10 you'll be using Wi-Fi instead of 5G. But in terms of the 5G speeds, I definitely see the difference. But it's just the battery life. Is it worth compromising battery life for the speed of 5G? Now, I would have loved to see Touch ID return back on the iPhone this year, but unfortunately, there's no Touch ID. You only have Face ID here, and I love Face ID. It's effortless to unlock your phone, but nowadays, we live in an era where we have to wear a face mask. Even when this stuff go away, people are still going to wear a face mask and everything, so it would have been nice to have a second biometric and have a fingerprint scanner on the side of the home button, just like the iPad Air would have been like phenomenal. I guarantee you, if Apple would have done a move like that, people would have been upgrading from the iPhone 11 to the 12 in a heartbeat. I mean, most people would, but just the fact how we don't have Touch ID, that's a little disappointing in my opinion. I can easily grip it to the side of the phone, so as soon as I press the lock button, it'd be able to unlock it just like Face ID, where you're not gonna unlock it and go to the home screen. You just could be able to see your notifications just like so. So this is it. It is time. All right. The speakers. Now you do have dual speakers here, but I noticed the speakers sound a little bit worse, just a teeny bit worse compared to the Pro or even the larger size iPhone 12s. I don't know. I think the bigger the device, the more sound it could put out. And even if you look at the speaker grills on the Mini, you notice that you have less speaker grills compared to like an iPhone 12. But other than that, guys, that's basically it for this review. I just wanted to keep it short and simple, and I highly recommend it. It's definitely one of my favorite iPhone 12s out of all of them. But in terms of practicality, in terms of just using my phone, I will go with the iPhone 12 Pro, just because I have the telephoto lens. Getting that zoom in shot without compromising the quality of the image is definitely important. And you have that LiDAR scanner. So that LiDAR scanner is going to be able to measure objects. And I got to tell you guys, it comes in handy when you have it. And also, just the material of the 12 Pro / 12 Pro Max. Love it, man. Especially this gold color. This is definitely my go-to. Now, I was going to do a separate review video on the 12 Pro Max, but I decided not to, just because both of these phones, believe it or not, very similar. The only thing is the material. You're getting the glass back versus the frosted glass back on the 12 Pro Max, and also the screen size and the battery life. But the camera, very identical. It threw me off at first because Apple's marketing, it make it seem like it's a day and night difference, but both of these phones take fantastic photos. There's really no wrong answer, whether if you choose the Mini or the Pro Max. It all comes down to the battery life and the screen size, in my opinion, and the RAM. But the RAM is something that you're not gonna really notice too much. And really, honestly, if you think about it, there's really no wrong answer at all. But if you pick the 12, the 12 Mini, the 12 Pro, the 12 Pro Max, all of them are fantastic phones. I've been using them for quite some time, but I'm personally going with the 12 Pro. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If it did, I appreciate it with a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on. Let's reach to 100,000 subscribers before the year ends. And comment down below what you guys think. All right, guys, until next time, peace.